this is our stay for tonight. It's got Almeria just over there, and then we've got a selection of motorhomes and caravans over to our left, surrounded by the lovely mountains. We're quite far away from anywhere. I do like these beach locations, but look at this. Look at that. That's quite amazing, isn't it? It's quite a nudist fraternity around here, so I've just got to be careful where I'm pointing the camera. But it's absolutely beautiful. We like locations by the sea. We like locations by the beach, so we can hear the waves crashing from the motorhome, which we can. We were about the first ones here, but because our boiler is really fussy, I was driving around for about 10 minutes trying to find a flat location, because when you wild camp, you're not really supposed to use levelers. Get your chairs out and make it as though you're in a campsite. When you're at wild camp, you're really supposed to just park up, and that's it basically. So it's kind of important that you get level, especially with our fussy boiler. That's what we call it now, the fussy boiler. It's a pain in the arse really. It's just got to be dead flat, otherwise it doesn't work. It affects the fridge. The fridge is nowhere near as fussy as that. Doesn't affect the cooker. Nope, just really affects the boiler, affects the fridge a little bit, but not the cooker. So I can't put the camera to the left, because to the left there's a girl with a top off, which I just don't want to make it awkward. I'm going to go as much as round as I can. Well, that's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to walk down there. This beach just goes on forever. Whoa, whoa. There is a place for camper vans just down there. In fact, it's another 5 miles down the beach. They're both on Park for Night, both on the apps. Search for sites and iOverlander. But yeah, Almeria is just down there, and this is about as far you can get in Spain, as far as down to the sort of southeasterly location. And southwest it's Gibraltar. But yeah, from here you can see for absolutely miles and miles. I'm going to walk down that way now and just have a look around. Good evening. So this is our wild camp for tonight, and we are in between Almeria and Cartagena. And would you just look at that? That beautiful sunset. What a place, eh? What we're trying to do is wild camp all the way up the Spanish coast. Now that might not be possible, because we might need washing facilities or hookup, or something might go wrong that we need a campsite. But the idea is hopefully to just wild camp, and if I can get wild camp locations like this all the way to the Spanish coast, that'd be fantastic. Look at the size of this car park. I mean, you've got to get down to the bottom here for it to be flat, and our dodgy boiler requires flat ground. So it took a bit of finessing. Wendy's just chatting to one of the girls in the van next door. though. I'm going to go across the road, do a left and right, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to the pub for a pint. We're going to try and find a cafe that's open. So the road down here was pretty uneventful. I mean, it was back roads, and we went through the mountains like we like to do instead of going on the toll roads. It was nice, don't get me wrong, the views are fantastic, but it wasn't anything worth capturing on the GoPro. What a lovely place, eh? I mean, look at that, what a wild camp for the night. So this is lovely. We've stayed about 4 days here now, in between Cartagena and Almeria, because we just didn't want to leave. And when you've got a motorhome and you're wild camping and it's not costing you anything at all, that's what you can do. Stay as long as you want, and when you wake up with a view out of your bedroom window of that, do you blame us? It's not a bad park up as well. We never take advantage of sort of looking out the back window onto the sea, because our back window is our toilet. So we've had some really good views from the toilet. Morning. But the best place for us is like side on, and you don't want to do that because you don't want to be that person that just takes up all the space. I mean, look how these guys are squished in here. However, it is Sunday. Yesterday was busy. Today's as busy, although it's just midday, so it's not really, you know, as far as the Spaniards are concerned, it's not really warmed up yet. But it's still busy. So Saturday and Sunday, you can obviously tell it's the weekend because all the locals come, park up for the day, do what they've got to do. I mean, look at it in there, that's packed in there. It's even busier than it was yesterday. A lot of these people use the motorhomes just to base themselves for like day visits. So come to the beach, use it as somewhere to have lunch, get a shower at the end of the day, sort themselves out, then go home, and why not? That's a good use of a motorhome. Any use of a motorhome is a good use of a motorhome as far as we're concerned. I like that idea, with the moped on the back. See the framework underneath. Ours used to have a frame underneath, I can tell, because when I first sort of made sure it was all in order and there was nothing hanging down at the back or anywhere underneath, that for that fact, there was bare wires hanging down at the back, where someone before us had a tow bar, decided they want to put it on their new motorhome or sell it, and then they'd just left the bare wires dangling down where they connected to the indicators and the reverse light and, you know, all the usual stuff. So I got under there, did that, and whilst I was under there, you can tell, because there's parts of the subframe that's had bolts through it, you can tell there's been a tow bar on there somewhere. So maybe that's an opportunity to do that again, I don't know. We shall see. Wendy and I have been talking about having a second vehicle, and to have a moped or some kind of electric vehicle, but with an electric vehicle you've got to charge it, and charging with the lithium batteries off grid for 2 electric scooters, that might be an issue, whereas you're sticking a quite robust scooter on the back, that sounds about right. So we're going to walk along here today before we set off. We're going to go for a coffee or something down here. We've walked as far as the cafe down here, but not any further. It's just about 200 metres. And we walked all around there yesterday. It was nice around there. The flies were really bad, so I had to go and sit inside. I can't be doing with lots of flies. I can't concentrate on the conversation and be bugged by flies. It just doesn't work for me. So we found somewhere inside and spent about an hour there just chatting shit as normal. Did you do that from Wendy? Wendy says, you chat shit, I don't. Yeah, so the only thing that, as far as the motorhome's concerned, you know, it needs a bit of TLC from time to time. And yesterday's job was to take off the breather for the water tank. So the breather for the water tank, whilst water has been used inside the water tank, it causes a vacuum. That vacuum's got to be filled by something, and it's filled by air. And the breather goes from the inlet, actually from where the cap is, the water cap outside, and it goes into the tank. But something went wrong, something's gone wrong, and it's blocked up. So we know that because every time we have a shower, or every time we use a lot of water, the tank starts to implode. So we've taken off the top and taken off the big red cap to let water replace the to air replace the water that's been used. So it needed fixing. So we had a look yesterday, and lo and behold, the cap must be blocked or something. We've had problems with the cap not locking, and it must be blocked. Sand has got in there. Obviously sand, when it gets wet, turns a bit clayey, and it's all blocked up. So that's what's happened basically. So we had to replace the pipe, the breather from the cap on the inside. We had to replace it. So Wendy came up with a great idea that the freshwater pipe that we use to fill the tank, why don't you use a little bit of that to remote it somewhere else, which was a great idea, and that's what we've done. Basically I've taken it from the breather on the tank and I've kept it inside the vehicle. You can't hardly see it because it's all rooted behind the existing woodwork, and it roots up. And actually what I've done is I've just put on top of the pipe, I've put some mesh that I had, some fine mesh, and then cut the end off a sock.
That's that boat that comes into the harbour over there. I
don't
know where it comes from, so it comes to do and chuckle across.
Okay. Yeah, cut off end of a sock and use some electrician's tape to put that on the top, and it's done, it's fixed it. Little jobs like that, just little wins are fantastic. We had issues with the boiler. The boiler's really weird. The boiler you can turn on and it works fine, heats all the water up, and then you leave it for a couple of hours and you want to use the boiler again, you turn it on and it goes click 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 and then cuts off. Then you do it again, click 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 click, cuts off. They do about 2 or 3 times and then it works. It's just it's a very choosy boiler, I think. In fact, I'm going to get it serviced when we get home. I've not had it serviced since we've had it. It's not been used that a lot, but that's nothing. You know, that's nothing saying that the last people used it and didn't service it. So I'll get it all serviced. I don't want to do it myself because it's gas, and the incident with the fridge, where I took the fridge to pieces at the back of it because it didn't work, if you remember rightly. There was no gas going through basically. So I stripped it all down, took it all to pieces. The solenoid was knackered because I did a 12-volt test on it and there was no clicking, so the solenoid wasn't opening. But when I was putting it back together, I lost the jet, and I didn't know I'd lost the jet out the end of the pipe. So when you started the fridge, like plumes of flames, luckily I was there at the time and we quickly switched everything off. But loads and loads of flames came out from the back of the fridge, and I had to take it to the motorhome shop to say, right, this is the score, I've renewed the solenoid, put all the pipes back on, I think I've done a good job, however there's loads and loads of flames coming out. He laughed at me and said, right, what are you happening? You've got basically a tube's worth of gas coming out, and you should have a fine jet's worth of gas coming out. So he got another jet, fitted the jet, and the fridge was fixed. So it's things like that where I can do some of the jobs, but the boiler's not one of those jobs. I wouldn't attempt the boiler. It's just too much of a risk. I want it done properly. And actually, after my experience with the fridge, it's probably best that someone that knows what they're doing does it, i.e. a gas fitter. Yeah, lesson learned with the fridge. So we're gonna walk into these trees up here on the left. This is Palmyra, as we know now it's called, from Morocco. And we're gonna start. We're gonna have a coffee, a chit chat, see what things are happening in the local area, and just get ready to move on. So today we are moving on because we'll go to our friend Frankie's house, and we're going to stay there for Sunday night. I'm going to stay there for Monday night, and then Tuesday we're going to move on to another dear friend of mine, Ian Wilkie. Move to his house, and we'll spend probably a night at Ian's house, and then we're going to move on to Joe Gypsy's house. And we're going to stay with Joe, maybe for one night or 2 nights, depends how long she'll have us for. And then from there, we don't know, but it's looking like probably Benidorm way for a night, and then move on. But we'll see how it goes. We're not, the plan I had, although it gave us structure and it gave us an indication of the mileage and the fuel, the adapted plan still does that, but we're just taking more time to get up north, if you see what I mean. It doesn't go day travel, day travel, day travel. Obviously we've taken 4 days now just to stay here. Then after we go for Benidorm, we're then going to go up the coast, but more about that later. So for now, from this lovely idyllic location, absolutely beautiful. So welcome to Pau Clar in Valencia province. We're actually visiting friends, Cullum and Joe. Wendy went to college with Joe many years ago, and we are calling here on the way back up the coast, and it's absolutely beautiful. They say that in about a week's time the car park at the top gets put out of bounds because it gets so busy and you've got to book to get in here. Cullum says it's really cold, so I'm not going to go in. But I'm going to try and take a few more pictures as I go back up to the top, back up to the car park. Oh, that looks cold. As it comes from a natural spring, you see where the water's coming out of the left hand side up there. That's where the natural spring comes out. Fills the pond, the pool up, not the pond, the pool up, and then it obviously cascades down here and then down the valley. So I'm going to walk back up this little valley and take some more film. But this is literally on our friend's doorstep. They live about 5 kilometres away. There's a little walk going all the way down the valley down there. I'm not quite sure where it goes, but looks like quite a nice walk either in the winter or in the summer. We're going to make our way up now. I'm going to keep this running, and I may cut little bits out, but what I don't want to do is miss anything that we've talked about before, and I've just thought, oh yeah, it's lovely. And obviously it's new to you, and it's the second time seeing for me. So I shall keep it going. There's a lovely foliage that runs all the way down the, as we see it now, left hand side. which takes the spring water, I presume, onto the village. We love the sound of running water, Wendy and I. We tend to choose places that are by the coast to park up, so we can hear the waves crashing. It's just so therapeutic. And the couple that we're staying with live in the most wonderful of places. It's as you come up from Andalusia, sort of Andalusia's quite brown in places, especially around Almeria, and then you drive up into Murcia, and then you sort of get into the Valencia province, and this is the first real sign of greenness as you drive through from Andalusia, Almeria area, which is the coast road, up to Murcia and out to Valencia. So as desert turns into green, basically this is the area we're in now. As I said before, it gets very, very busy in the summer, and then actually you've got to book to get in here. We're lucky because that starts next Saturday. This is a flage that goes all the way down, I'll presume, to the village. So there's various places here where people jump off, and one of them is here, into the pool down there. I'd say that was about 10 metres. A lovely little waterfall here. Really lovely. I know most of you are used to me saying really lovely a lot, but I wouldn't take you to shitty locations, and if they are shitty I'd explain why they were shitty. And this one's exceptional. I would explain it as a best kept secret, but I don't think that's the case. I think most people in this area and the wider area know about it from what's been explained about its popularity in the summer. So the little holes in the rock up there, I'm told that they can't explain why the little holes are in the rock, but they're straight edged, so they're not natural. I'm just wondering what's in there, whether it leads to an inner cave or whether it leads to just an opening, basically. Lovely little fish in the bottom, on the bottom. Glad I've got my hat on because I've just hit my head. Gracias. Hola. So if Peter and Carol are watching this, you could equate this to something like Betsy Coyd, only warmer, and it's not raining. No, I'm only joking. Betsy Coyd is absolutely beautiful. We go there every time we go to the in-laws' house. We like the walk-in, but we also like the fish and chips at the end of the walk as well. At the fish and chip shop just over the bridge. I think this is the spring. Oh yeah, that's the one of the sources of this. It's a natural spring. You can see the fish around where the water comes out the ground, and all that does, that tops up. That tops up this pool here, which makes it really, really clear from here downwards. It is a bit cloudy up there. That top pool is cloudy, but it's not fed by this spring. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Apparently it's really cold. But if it's the spring water, it's going to be super cold, isn't it, really? Yeah. Oh, nearly missed him going in there. I suppose once you get in, it's like everything else. And you start to warm up. But it's the initial get in and it takes your breath away. Yeah, this pool appears a bit green, but they've had so on the news only 2 weeks ago when we were down the coast of Almeria, they had a massive downpour. It caused a lot of damage, but that downpour flushed, for want of a better word, all the remaining water down the valley. It actually cleaned it out a lot, but consequently it's filled this up and it's gone a bit green. It is running and it's getting topped up from there, as you can see from the natural stream, but it's obviously slower than the pools down the bottom, which causes it to go green. I love the old bridge up there. That's still in use as well. I'm going to walk up these steps now and back to the car. Absolutely beautiful. Very tranquil as well. Like I say, there is going to be a mix. There's going to be a balance of in the summer when it's really busy, and now when it's just pre-season.
Per lo che te dico put little tops on and I just everything was good.
If you come off, you're not going to have nice skin anymore.
I know.
There's that foliage going down again. Only from the top one, not so fast this time. And actually it's a level above the last foliage, so probably supplying water to a different location.
You did good, girl.
You can see the sign there, it says Fontana is 18 kilometres, and a bit of a giveaway where we are because there's a road number, the CV655. I think it's a bit of a rock climbing heaven as well. So if you look over there, I mean, wow, rock climber's wet dream. Yeah. So this is the valley or gorge of Torronjers. I think I've Cullum, is that pronounced correctly?
Yeah. And it goes to Bocarent. People often call it the Bocarent Gorge. And the train goes through this. You'll see the train winding in and out of the rocks in a bit. Great. Well, the train track.
See the goat at the top of the hill?
Oh yeah, you can, oh my word, yeah. You can see
Not a real one.
No. No.
Sculpture.
You get the ones that are big bulls as you ride through Spain, don't you?
Yeah.
On the motorways.
With the single testicle.
Yeah. this is Boc Iarent. Boc Iarent. I did ask the pronunciation 2 or 3 times and I hope I've got it right. But it'll give Cullum something to laugh about when he looks at this and I pronounce it incorrectly, having only been told it 20 seconds ago. It's lovely. There's a lot of Christian and Moorish influence in Boc Iarent. They celebrate the Christians and the Moors every year with a big parade through the town. And you've got this lovely little town centre. And we're just about to go on a walk that Cullum and Joe do when they come to Boc Iarent. Taking me down the back streets. What's going on here? So we just stopped at a little, oh look at that. We just stopped at a little chiringuito. It wasn't a bar, but it was a little shop, and we've just bought some product from them, local product.
Right, okay, that's
Ooh.
cool idea. Yeah.
Check out the old bridge down there.
And that's the Ermita de San Crist.
Ermita de San Crist.
Yeah, basically.
The Church of Saint Christ.
Of Christ, yeah.
Of Christ,
basically,
yeah.
There, in that case, Saint normally kind of means holy Christ. And that's the Stations of the Cross going up.
Got you.
There's a little tiny church to Maria. So Mary, you can see the little one.
The little one just
Yeah,
before it.
Just before it. And there's it's got a tiny little altar in it to Mary.
Oops.
And you can see the backs of these houses. I mean, how the I feel uncomfortable getting onto some of these
Oh, balconies. Yeah,
You
definitely.
see the construction underneath them.
Yeah, looks a bit dodgy. I'm sure it's been there for
Hundreds of years.
well, decades anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're going to put a lift shaft in there. Oh, look at that. That
Yeah,
is
the old bridge.
absolutely beautiful.
I tell you what, that walk up to church every Sunday is a bit of a bind, isn't it?
Every morning. Somebody does it every morning.
No.
Puts fresh flowers and lights the candles every morning.
Oh my god.
And there's about another cave beyond it. There's a little bit of a valley, and beyond it is a cave where this female hermit used to live, and she's due to be beatified. So, and they go and light candles there to become a saint. They're in the process of beatification for her. She used to live there. There's some goats there. Yeah, up here to our left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there's normally donkeys.
Well, they just eat shit, they do.
Oh, there's a goat right down here. Look. Hello.
Yeah, just there.
Joe, who's this fella?
Oh, they've been feeding them with their rotten fruit.
Oh, the old fruit. He's looking healthy on it. He's
Yeah.
quite a size.
Well,
that
I would
fella.
say that is a lady and she's about to give birth.
Oh yeah, she's
Well,
very
maybe so,
heavily
yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah. That could well be true.
You know your goats thing.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm one.
Yeah. And once again, no, she's married to an old one.
Oh.
Hey.
Great.
That's what Wendy. I mean, I'll probably cut this bit out, but that's what Wendy. That's on Wendy's nerves. So watch it, edit, rewind. Watch it, edit, rewind. Watch it. Yep, happy with that, and then move on. She's like, you've watched it about 4 times. I said to me, you can't leave stuff in. You've got to really listen to it because there's stuff in the background that people are talking about that you don't want other people to hear.
No
He
idea.
didn't post it on YouTube, but he did
No idea.
our
Break the cake now.
Thailand trip,
Yeah.
and he did that. Like it was more of a montage of photos,
Yeah, yeah.
videos,
Yeah.
music in the background. You know,
It's nice.
the whole lot.
Martin, there's the caves ahead of you, and the steps going up to them.
Can you see the steps?
No. Oh yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I can see him now.
See all the windows?
Little window,
Yeah, I can see him now.
but you can crawl right through that.
Oh my
the
god.
whole,
Did you do that?
yeah.
Sod that.
Yeah.
And halfway up, you look out a window, and there's there's no rail or anything. You just stick it out and like.
It's about €3 each or something. It's only on certain days.
Oh, you wouldn't get in there. I'm actually a bit claustrophobic as well, but it's okay with it. I wasn't too bad. Because you can stand up.
Right, even then, no.
Right. The Corvettes. You don't want to go. So yeah, you basically just go down there, up those steps. And the first steps, you can see the
into the cave.
you go into the cave, and then you come out up with the other ones after going through.
Of course, the advantage of living in caves is the coolness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, why would they live in caves all that time ago?
They don't reckon they were inhabited.
Oh,
And the crazy thing is the
They're not
ice
short,
caves as well.
Oh yeah.
There's ice caves.
There's a big ice cave up on top.
Yeah, Marinona.
They call them orifices.
It's here as well.
Yeah, that's the cave of the Samplai. That's
So this is Ontinyent, and we've just been out for a lovely meal, sort of Japanese, Chinese influence, and the couple that we're staying with have just brought us out to see some sights. It's a lovely little town. Lots going on. In fact, what they're doing there is they're exposing the old castle walls as part of a, I don't know, gentrification process. There were old houses in the bottom there, but this floods really badly. So on the last flood they said they're not going to rebuild them again. So they've taken them all down as part of the sort of like a little gentrification process. I love these little old bridges. Well, you know I do. Because everywhere I go, it's either spotting the old road or spotting the old bridges. What's this? Oh, what? On Yent.
And then you get a photograph of the two with the bell tower and everything
Oh,
behind
that's
it.
quite cool. That's quite arty, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to get. It's the only place you get the right angle.
I'm on it. On Yent.
Ontinyent.
Ontinyent. Okay.
Ontinyent.
Ontinyent.
And this is the second tallest bell tower in Spain.
Is it?
The highest bell tower in Valencia, isn't it?
Yeah, but the second in the whole of Spain.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's some feat, considering of, you know.
Well, you,
oh,
you have
look.
to see how far on the other side it goes down, like.
Yeah, yeah. But if you think, you know, the largest cities, and this is the second largest
Yeah,
in Spain.
I think it's Sevilla is the first one.
Sevilla Cathedral's massive. And the way the battlements are made on the right hand side, you can tell that road going in front of the red house and just after the one that's been knocked down, going right to left, that bridge would have been the original way in to the city. Right, I'm going to do once round, and I'm going to go and see what Colin and Joe are doing.